Yes. Let's call the meeting to order. Nicole, can you do roll call?
Mr. Blair?
Present.
Mrs. Grosh? Mrs. Gutierrez?
Present.
Mr. Hald?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales?
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I am looking for a motion to enter executive session.
I move to enter into executive session pursuant to 24-6-4024F CRS for discussing a personnel matter involving the executive director who has been notified of the executive session and has consented to it.
All those in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
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 Aye. The ayes have it. We will now go to executive session and be back in a little bit. Blake, so we're waiting for Warren. Yep. Okay, we're all back. We're out. We've returned from executive session, and we're moving to the next item on our agenda. Are there any other additional agenda items that we should consider? Not hearing any. Moving to the next one. Public comment. I don't see anybody from the public to comment, so that's done. And so now we're moving to introductions and presentations. Deputy Director Beck, will you please introduce us to Blake Selly, Special Projects Manager?
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce Blake Selly to you. His official title is Special Projects Manager, but he wears lots and lots of different hats for the district, so he'll walk you through a lot of that, but he's been a great asset to us in this new role, so I'm excited to introduce Blake to you.
Thank you, Skylar. Hey, board. I know I've met you all, but I just want to say a little bit about my history with the district. I started in 2019, so I'm on my 7th, maybe starting my 8th year here. Coincidentally, the first person that I ever met in this room was Mike Held. I worked at the fitness center when it was TrueFit, and Hyland Hills purchased that, and I became an employee here, and soon enough it was discovered that I had a good resume for a recreation position, so I became a rec coordinator, rec supervisor, and then eventually I moved over to administration, and this is my position now, the wild world of special projects. I'm from here. I went to high school in Conifer, Colorado, and my dad lives in Arvada, so I was in Arvada a lot. I love Colorado. Never saw a reason to leave. Yep, Jeffco guy. So today I thought we would talk about some of my 2026 priorities and initiatives. These are things that I, kind of came up with for our budget meeting last year, and I just wanted to follow up with how things are going. So first I'm going to go through a slide for each of these things, and then if you guys have questions, let me know, and then we can move on to the next thing. So some of the things that we want to talk about, priorities, streamline safety materials and inspections. I've always had this Safety Tips of the Week program that we've been doing for this is our 3rd year. We've been working on asset monitoring, and for the entire district, we're working on doing some QR tags to easily do work orders in software that we're using. A complete update of the safety manual and procedures for the district with the safety committee, and the last one that we've officially had approved was 2015, so that's something that we have in the works right now. Conduct safety walkthrough audits with all of our major facilities. The last time we did that was 2022. And then our final goal is to be the Special Districts Association 2026 Safety District of the Year. That one's, All right, so the first, go ahead.
On the asset tagging, just any food equipment that has food compared to other equipment, just be careful where the tags go, so it doesn't accumulate any food factory behind it.
Yeah, and
Coming from a food manufacturing background,
Okay.
we struggle to work with tags on food manufacturing equipment.
good to know. Yeah, we try to keep them in spaces that are easily accessible, but not in the way of people scratching them off. We're using like aluminum kind of tags, so they're meant for the elements. So first priority, streamline safety materials and inspections. We're working on doing this for quite a few different things. And the first one that we decided to start with is district-wide fire inspections. We did an RFP process for this. The goal being to find one company that would cover all of these inspections for the entire district to help with consistency and hopefully, financial value. We found one district for fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood vents, suppression systems, sprinkler systems, backflow devices. Luckily for us, this is a newer company, and we ended up saving, close to $5,000. From 2024, the reason I picked 2024 and not 25 is I did an audit for 24, and then we made this decision in 25 and moving on from there. And that'll reflect on another slide that we'll talk about. Benefits, coordination and communication among our departments. It's been nice. I worked with mainly Waterworld and the Parks and Maintenance Department, who traditionally did these inspections. And it was pretty nice to be able to get everybody on the same page and get a real inventory of all of the devices in our district, all the equipment that we have. So that's one thing that we gained from that as well that I didn't put on there, is we have a really good inventory now. And then less paperwork for Jill in the finance department by having one bill instead of working with 10 different companies at every different facility. So some lessons that we learned is we're probably going to revisit our RFP for 2027 and look at a different company because they didn't, live up to all of the expectations that we hoped for. But, we'll do that process again. Questions on that? Very good.
Thank you for being more efficient.
That's kind of, I'm not a person that makes money for the district, but we're looking at efficiencies and trying to save money for the district. Next priority initiative is to streamline safety materials, AEDs, first aid kits around the district. Before it was kind of scattered as well for all the facilities. We had agreements with Cintas, Heart Health, and there was just bills like crazy. Nothing was very consistent at all. I did an audit of that in 2024 to see how much we were spending on that. So what we decided to go with is an in-house program. I'm actually, going around to all the first aid kits and doing it myself. And all of the AEDs, I work with the manufacturing company to make sure that all the AEDs are up to date. We do periodic service updates on like the software and stuff to make sure that those are functioning properly. And then I have a free app that I use that helps me inventory, and it gives me data on how much every facility is using as far as first aid supplies. It's pretty cool, actually. I just scan it, and now I know to order a new bandage for Mike if he falls again. We got plenty. So that's been working out. We've been doing that for the last couple months, and 2024 total cost from all of those companies, Cintas, Heart Health, for the district was $35,000 this year, including my cost of, it takes me about 8 hours a month to do this, including that and the cost of supplies. We got 4 new AEDs because we realized that some were out of date. We need to get some new ones. And we got some storage cabinets. And it's significant, the decrease in price, down to $9,700 from $35,000. Next year, I'm expecting around $6,000 minus the new AEDs and the storage cabinets.
Wow.
So, questions on that one? Cool. This one is one that we do every year. I've just really made it a priority for safety. We get discounts from the pool for, this is a state program, but it's cost containment certification program. And there's 6 things to qualify for these discounts. First one is a written safety policy communicated to employees. We have that on our intranet page that we've been developing over the past few years. A safety committee, we meet the second Thursday of each month to go over accident investigation. For example, the next meeting that we're going to have, we're going to be discussing a new accident accountability policy for repeat offenders for people that are costing the district money, breaking things, etc. And we're just trying to find solutions for that. And then we also come up with the safety tips of the week, comes out every Friday, and those safety tips are intended to be used the next week for toolbox talks for any facilities that it makes sense to use those for toolbox talks. Toolbox talks are safety, one meeting a week for safety. And that's up to the departments to use them at their leisure. And then the next thing that is on the 6-part program, safety rules and procedures. We do annual SOP updates at all facilities, and the safety committee is continuing to work on a safety manual update. Like I said, we already have something, but we're updating it to be more modern and to reflect all of the different things that we do in this district. Go ahead. Oh, so that's the next page. I'm going to get to that. No, you're good. It's the same thing, so we're still talking about those 6 things. So the next thing is we need to have some form of safety training participated by all employees periodically. We do a safety training every year, and we have to get full-time equivalent. So every full-timer has to take this safety training, and then the full-time equivalent for part-timers, which our goal is 220. We did a training last month. And we got 160 so far. So that'll give us a 10% discount on our liability contribution once we hit that 220. And some other trainings that we did, the pictures on here. There's also a bigger, if you have trouble seeing these slides, there's a bigger picture one on there. But there's some pictures on here of the skid truck that we did some trainings. I got 10 park staff and 5 park staff and then 5 golf staff to do this training, and it was really fun. And it just shows people how to drive on ice. We did it in the parking lot out here. Waterworld graciously donated some of the parking lot for about a month to do these trainings. Other districts came in and did them as well. But and then we did some forklift training. These are with the pool. The pool safety team, they come in and help me with training. The electric pallet jack training I came up with myself, and they said that was cool for me to do. Confined spaces training to come. The next bullet point for this 6-part is designated medical providers. So if somebody has an injury, a work comp claim, we have doctors that we want them to go see so that the paperwork is fluent and it gets back to us, everything gets paid for and taken care of properly. We have 5 of those. And then accident investigation showing the root cause of procedures to prevent similar accidents from happening again. Like I said before, we do a lot of SOP updates. If we have an incident where something happens to the public and it's something that we can do safety inspection checklists before every opening, that's something that we've been developing for a lot of facilities. And then just another example, we've had some incidents on slides at Waterworld, and one thing that we kind of came up with for one slide was the Puggle stick, so that lifeguards don't fall down the slide pushing a tube. It's a stick that helps push it, so they don't, and then there's no pass lines. So just things like that. That's just an example of things that we do to kind of help avoid incidents. Questions on that? Awesome. All right, and then the next initiative that I had was conduct safety walkthrough audits for all major facilities. Last time we did this was in 2022. We did it for every facility so far this year, from February to April, except for Waterworld. We're doing Waterworld the closed week between kind of then when we have the weekends open, and then the dog day. So the facility is still fully functioning, so we can get an accurate audit of that. But everybody scored in the 80s or 90s, and they considered that good. The pool helped me with these inspections, and they were really looking for things that were wrong so that they could give us advice. Yes? We haven't done those, but we could do those. They're just pretty small facilities, so I think that's why we didn't pick them, but we can do that. Valid point, valid point. Yeah, I agree with you. Questions on that, other than suggestions? Awesome.
Are these pass rates, what do you expect the pass rates to be for a commercial?
So it's tough depending on which, they had different point system based on like what types of things were there, how many things that they saw, versus how many things were wrong. And it's tough to get like a 90 if they see like 2 or 3 things that are wrong. So it's very, very small. Like the bar's very high. So like all of these were very well maintained, especially compared to 2022. Like everything has been improved since then. All of these places, like pretty much every place had a storage. One thing they got docked on is storing things in like an electrical room or something, like just a ladder or something, and they would dock us on that. So they were pretty strict with the things that they would consider safety hazards. So. No, but overall, these were very well. They were safe, according to the pool.
Good. So they're improving, and there were very stringent guidelines that they were held to.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Next thing. Back to the QR code asset tagging project. We're still working on that. But we made the decision over the past close to a year to move from Upkeep to a new company, based on some things that we liked and didn't like. So we met this company at the SDA conference last year, GridBase, and we included them in our RFP. We had a lot of different companies do proposals, and this company could basically do everything that Upkeep could do and much better, and for a fraction of the price. GridBase is a newer company, but the cost went down $14,000 a year, and we can also do GIS mapping on it. So when we're tracking all of our assets, we can put the assets on a map, and we think that will help people identify where the assets are to do work orders, instead of just looking at a spreadsheet and, being expected to know in their brain what everything is. They can find it on the map, click on it, say I need a work order done, and then it gets sent to the right person to get it fixed. So we think that'll be very helpful. And then there's also, they can also do requests. So if anybody around the district sees something wrong, they can put in a request, and it should go to the corresponding maintenance person, and things will get fixed. Questions on that? The slide next to it, the GridBase slide, has a picture of the maps. I thought it was pretty cool. There's one, the bottom left picture has all the cameras at the fitness center, and you can do layers of all the different types of assets. So I can do fire extinguishers, AEDs, and I can put them on a schedule to do maintenance on them. I can put them on a schedule for inspections annually, etc. Questions on that? I think it's pretty rad software.
Yeah, that is nice.
And the last thing, the most exciting thing, just some reports of work comp and how that's tracking, insurance claims. Work comp trending up this year. So this is just the first 5 months of the last 3 years. And we kind of attribute the increase of reporting to, we're trying to create a culture of report it regardless of if you think you need to go see a doctor. We still want the reports if you have an injury. So we've been getting a lot more reporting and a lot more data as far as where things are going wrong and how we can fix them. There's just graphs for general liability, work comp.
So in your opinion, has there been an increase or just an increase in reporting?
There's definitely been an increase in reporting. I would say we're probably tracking average for what we normally have as far as work comp claims. And it's tough to tell this time of year because this is through the end of May.
Yeah.
And then June and July I'm doing a lot of paperwork in June and July. So everything's open, so. But as of now, it's to par with what we normally have. And that's what I got for you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your efforts on that. Very much appreciated. For one, increasing efficiency, and two, reducing costs where we can. Really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next topic, I'm looking for a motion for the treasurer's report.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District approve the May 2026 Treasurers Report as presented.
Second?
Discussion, and Mike, your general question to staff?
Jill,
Yes.
thing to point out?
Yeah, so actually, just to bring up something that Margaret noticed earlier, if you look at the government fund revenues line item, the first line, administration, the annual budget, I had added the supplemental resolution appropriation into that line, but then we moved the debt service to above and took it out of admin, but I failed to correct that budget line item, so that will be in the next report. So we do not expect 5.2 million because a lot of that was transferred from reserves, and so it should be above. But bottom line, we're in a strong position. We are running a surplus. I don't expect it to be this high throughout the year just because we're in our strong season. And just a reminder that these numbers are on a cash basis, so depreciation, amortization are not included, and so those are year-end expenses that we add on. Cash is solid, 34 million in unrestricted, no major operational issues to speak of. Revenue is up about 8% and ahead of budget. Expenses have been well controlled, even with increased expenses all across every line item, from utilities to payroll to insurance. We did add the capital outlay and project list this month, and we'll keep that going forward, so I can answer questions on budget items, but not necessarily on those particular projects. So we're about 30% spent on our capital budget so far. Most of that has been Summit Canyon. We'll see heavy spending in the next 2 quarters, plus a couple projects that have been delayed that will roll into next year, like the Agar restroom project that we couldn't start prior to the season. Other than that, debt service payments are on track, and because we have all fixed rate, we don't have any interest rate risk there, so I feel good.
Thank you, and I want to tell you that your capital outlays and project schedule is perfect, and it contains the detail that I was looking for, and the way that it's organized by each property is very helpful. So
I'm glad it
thank
helps.
you.
Yeah.
That is a very effective presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, no more questions. All those in favor of approving the treasurer's report, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. The next item is, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the last board meeting.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District approve the minutes of the board meeting of June 9th, 2026 as written.
I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is communication and correspondence to the board. I don't see that we have any this month, and so there's nothing to review. That brings us to our executive director update and the executive director report.
Okay, thank you and good evening. So our most exciting information to share is that we have finally a completed, although probably lots of last minute things that are still going to have to take place, project at Waterworld. So we do have the grand opening ribbon cutting scheduled for this Thursday, as you all know. We've got some information that we'll send home with you about timeline for that. But super exciting, we actually have been doing soft openings since Sunday. Yeah, big round of applause. This was about as heavy a lift as I've ever seen with this district, and outside of COVID probably. So great work by Bob. I mean, I can't stress enough the amount of energy and effort and frustration and exhaustion that Bob and Steve Hagar both have put into this project. But I think if you will go out there and you'll see it again on Thursday, well, I hope it's been worth every minute of it, Bob. I know it's probably not the day to ask. I told him this morning or today coming down here, I don't think I've ever seen Bob as tanned as he is this summer, and he's super tan because he's been outside so much. So yeah, we are getting great reviews. Some of us walked out yesterday as we were going to let the public in, and the first thing we hit, thank you, Blake, was a guest stopped us and said, "Well done." So I think that the people are very pleased with the results of it. Like I said, we'll start now the programming. The swim lessons actually started, the Learn to Swim program opened up two Mondays ago, was the first set of swim lessons. So that's been going a little bit longer than the rest of the area. But again, this was a difficult project from the very beginning of the planning to the emotional attachment to the attractions that we were taking out to making a decision to close Splashland Pool. You know, it all kind of came together in this big, hugely ambitious project, and so tickled to death to finally see it come to fruition. So again, a huge amount of gratitude to Steve and Bob and the whole Waterworld team for making this happen, and very, very excited then what we get to do with it now. So we'll start introducing community programming, some evening events. I think I saw a blast go out today for the first evening event that's coming up. So. So yeah, we finally made it. Not as quick as we would have liked to have had it. Lots of lessons learned along the way that we will do a recap on eventually. But very, very happy to get this project done and open to the public. So yeah, big round of applause.
Well done, job well done.
Yvonne, is there still any workers on site, or are they just like doing finishing?
Yeah, we have some landscaping crews still on site. Odds and ends, I don't know, Bob, you want to have anything you want to add?
Yeah, we do have some polish work, landscaping being one. We've narrowed, we have almost 600 items on our punch list. So we're in the process now of prioritizing those. Some will happen in the fall, just so it's not intrusive to operations. But we've identified the ones that really we need to get done quick, and so they're working evenings. And mornings, so they come in at 4:30 in the morning and they work until we open, and then we have crews that come in at night as well. So we're prioritizing that list, and the work will continue through the fall in terms of warranty and just, you know, some other polish items. But from a guest experience standpoint, the pieces are there, and any of the little things that we're still working on we'll have wrapped up this week.
Excellent. I would like to point out that Waterworld Wednesdays are sold out, and that was our way to help the communities get access to Waterworld, like Splashland and that area. So maybe we could consider like Summit Canyon Saturdays or something. So if they're selling out, that means that there's unmet demand from that side.
Yeah, we'll continue to build on all of these programs, right? This was our first dive into what does this look like if we build a program, if we purchase a van, if we transport the kids, and obviously very, very popular. So yeah, we will see that program expand for sure into next year and subsequent years. So beyond that, I wanted to call out, we're talking about the final drawings for the Sherwood project, Carol Butts Field. So these are projects that we have grant approvals on. Why I specifically want to talk about Sherrillwood is that Alan informed us today that we are out of water for Sherrillwood Park. So if you, I mean, it was great foresight on the team's part to say, you know, artificial fields would probably be the way to go at that location. So we were ahead of it in that way. We didn't get ahead of it enough to mitigate the drought that we didn't know was coming, but here we are. So we expect to put that project out to bid in the next coming weeks. Hopefully work will be able to be done over the winter, but we are working through basically some community communication so we can put signs out, because it's not just going to be Sherrillwood Park. We know that we've got a lot of dry spots in a lot of parks because the restrictions were on and so forth. So we will be working on creating just a communicative web page with signs that we can put in these parks and let the community know what's going on. But there will be no more watering at Sherrillwood for the rest of the season. We will manage the traffic on it. We're going to have to move around some groups that were going to be there, I think, this fall, and so the team is actively working on that, but I wanted to point that out to the board. And then the Capital Projects Committee kind of asked me to update you all on the Clear Lake Park. So we did have a guest or a few guests, a guest come a couple of times about the Clear Lake Park. If you remember, that's kind of a pocket park over near Random High School. So we are underway with the replacement playground over there. Our team is going to take out the old playground. We'll hire the company, the selected company, to do the new playground. Again, the total funding for that is $200,000, which will also include some tree work at that park. We got $140,000 from Adams County Open Space, but I thought really the most fun part of the project was Skylar and Kelly took some drawings over to the local elementary school to kind of get the kids' input on what they liked the best. So they took 4 designs. Here's one design, and so when you see the orange dots, that was what somebody picked as their favorite playground. This was the winning playground.
Oh, my gosh.
So overwhelmingly, 3 of them looked similar to this, and this was overwhelming choice. So this is the playground concept that we're going with. Like I said, Skylar's already got it under contract, and we hope to see maybe September-ish for installation. So beyond all of the other things we have going on, we're just in the middle of summer, right? This is our Super Bowl time of year, and we're busy at it. I think we're having very successful, steady seasons all the way around. You know, this heat certainly affects traffic at the golf course, of all things, right? We just talked about how hot it is to golf sometimes in the afternoon. But the heat is great for Waterworld. So I expect we'll have good media coverage on Thursday when we go to cut those ribbons and officially open the area for the community. So beyond that, happy to answer any other questions that y'all have.
No, I do want to make a comment about the concerts that are being held at Clear Creek Valley Park. So I think that program is 3 or 4 years old. I can't remember how old, but I know it's at least 3 years. And the last concert, which it rained before the concert, which in the times before really killed attendance, didn't impact it. And I think you can really see progress that's being made, that now the community knows that those concerts are available and they're enjoyable and fun. And there was a fabulous turnout, even though there were threatening clouds. And so it was really commend the communications team on promoting that and then executing the event. It was really well done.
Yeah, thanks for that, Margaret. And I guess it's just a reminder to the board, right? This is part of this strategic plan initiative. We heard from the community that they are interested in free community events, and so certainly the concert series is part of that and checks that box. So yeah, thank you for that. I know they've been great. The marketing team is doing an excellent job of getting the word out to the community. So thanks for that. Sounds like it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Any other questions for Executive Director Fischbach? Moving to the next one, can we get an update on the Highland Hills Fitness Center quarterly KPI report?
Say something.
Get him, Skylar.
Yeah.
From Skylar.
Got it. So in your packet, there's a memo. These are key metrics we established earlier this year. So we just finished the second quarter. So I wanted to present these numbers to you. It's just informational only at this point, but as you can see, we are trending in the right direction when you compare it to the previous year. So we're very happy with the team out there. They've really prioritized growing our programs, maintaining the facility, replacing old equipment, keeping the entire facility clean, as well as increased marketing efforts. So I think all of that is paying off, and we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that the Pilates reformer has grown by 7 times since last quarter,
Yeah.
which really speaks to there was a lack of programming in that area, and now it's being met. And
Yeah.
so,
That's been a great new program that moved locations within the building. So location has a lot to do with it.
perfect, yeah. It looks like good progress, so thank you. Any other questions or comments for Skylar? Okay, moving on. Ellison, would you like to give us an overview of your legal report?
I would love to. Let's see. June had a lot of exciting things going on. We had a billboard lease that we're working on. And to the credit of the existing lease, it's been in place since 1994. So that's a long time, but we're going to update a couple of things in there.
Allison, I'm just curious where that billboard is. Is it off the I-76? The highway there?
I'm going to defer to Alan on that one.
Yeah, I can jump in here. Lauren, yeah, that is the billboard when you enter the park from the east side. That is a billboard next to 76th. So that's that one right there. So it doesn't really get involved in any of the park operations. It's off to the side, and so that's what the lease we're renegotiating.
But it's designed for travelers on 76 to see?
Yes.
Okay.
Also working on an updated lease for the cell tower, the T-Mobile cell tower at the ball fields. Let's see, and a couple of projects for Waterworld related to the opening of Summit Canyon.
How are, overall, the IGA agreements, how are those progressing overall? Just the negotiations, process, all of that?
We're working on the structure of it right now, of how do we set all this up in a way that's compliant with TABOR. So we're at like a very high level with it at the moment. Yvonne and I are working on it.
Okay.
Is the golf ball complaint just property damage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the car.
Okay.
And then Rotary Park, which I grew up across the street from, the easements, do they do anything? Like, is that good? Like, was it troublesome, or are they just going forward?
Yeah, it was, I guess it was an exercise in just making sure that the area that they needed for water quality, they have access to. So it won't change anything in the park, but it does allow Adams County access to that area should they need to do maintenance or any kind of repairs in that area.
Okay.
So it's a permanent easement for maintenance purposes, so. But it doesn't change anything in the park.
It rains a lot less from when I was a little kid, so it doesn't get as much use, but it's needed. Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions, comments?
Do you have any streakers in the park yet?
Oh, my gosh.
Do we have any sprinklers?
No, streakers.
That's what
Get at these guest behavior issues.
Well,
Yeah.
We wish.
I'm not sure, not streakers per se.
Bob, I recommend you just pass on that question.
Yeah, yeah, I'll clarify it wasn't that and then move on. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Never a dull moment when I call Allison.
I know.
Truth is always stranger than fiction,
Yeah.
so, yes. Okay, any other comments? Okay, moving from the legal report, thank you for that recap. Old business is our next topic, there is none. Moving on to new business. I am looking for a motion for the resolution approving declarations of covenants, conditions, and restrictions to encumber real property known as Waterworld and Adventure Golf and Raceway. Looking for,
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District approve the resolution approving declarations of covenants, conditions, and restrictions to encumber real property known as Waterworld and Adventure Golf and Raceway as written.
I second.
Executive Director Fishbach, do you just want to give us a high-level summary of this wonderful resolution and motion?
Yeah, certainly. I think it pretty much memorializes the board's initiative towards protecting the district's property. So this is phase one, as we've talked about in the past, which started with Waterworld and Adventure Golf. You asked for community input. We publicized this through the activities guide and various other mechanisms to get the information out to the community. Asked for comments. We did get comments back. Overwhelmingly, the comments were very supportive of the board continuing with this initiative to protect its properties. So again, this is kind of phase one. We'll move into phase two. You'll see those items on your agenda tonight to schedule additional public hearings that start bringing the other properties into this initiative. Now that we know that this is an item we can accomplish, that the community supports, and that will protect those assets into the future. So again, this is step one of a multi-step process that hopefully we'll have wrapped up all of it by the end of the year, maybe early next year.
Excellent. Any other comments or questions from the board? Everyone, if you're in favor of the motion and resolution approving declarations of covenants, conditions, and restrictions to encumber real property known as Waterworld and Adventure Golf and Raceway, say aye.
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 Motion passes. There are no nays. Yay. That's awesome. Yay. Thank you, everyone, for making that happen. The next one, I'm looking for a motion to declare equipment surplus.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District declare surplus the provided list of items and authorize staff to dispose of them in a proper manner.
Second.
Any discussion?
Okay, what's a cash recycler?
I might want that.
Those are my kids.
Oh, because recycle means they bring it back. So they're just cash withdrawers. So this is something we're very happy to see go. Previously, Waterworld since we've reduced cash and our cashless at food and beverage, we are using a lot less cash. We are receiving about 3% cash now. And so this was a machine where all the cashiers would bring their cash in, you'd put it in the machine, it would spit back out their starting bank and count it, but it was highly inefficient. It had problems with wet bills. It was all kinds of a nightmare. So I kind of got rid of that, and now we're using cash vault services from the bank to take and send our cash. It weighs a lot. The floor was reinforced, but it's perfect for new safes. So, but yeah, we won't miss her.
Okay.
Nice.
At all.
Once again, thank you all for being more efficient. Those in favor of passing the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The next one, I'm looking for a motion for the designation of July as Park and Recreation Month.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District approve the proclamation designated July as Park and Recreation Month.
Second.
Should we read the resolution, and if so, who would like to do that? I'm looking for volunteers here. Oh, okay, here I go. Okay, this is the resolution. Whereas Park and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the Highland Hills Park and Recreation District, and whereas parks and recreations promote health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks, and whereas parks and recreations promote time spent in nature which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illness such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourage physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking, trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education, and whereas Park and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Park and Recreation increases the community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of business, and crime reduction. And whereas Park and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas Parks and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Park and Recreation Month, and whereas the Highland Hills Park and Recreation District recognizes the benefits derived from park and recreation resources, now therefore be it resolved by Highland Hills Park and Recreation District that July is recognized as Park and Recreation Month in the Highland Hills Park and Recreation District. Yay. Okay, all those in favor of that motion say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Let's go.
Okay, we have one more motion that I'm looking for, a motion to schedule public hearing.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District schedule public hearings on Tuesday, August 14th, 2026, and Tuesday, September 8th, 2026, at 6:00 p.m. at the Highland Hills Administration Building located at 8801 Paco Street, Federal Heights, Colorado, to discuss the proposed district property initiative plan.
Second?
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any, motion passes. Okay, so now we're moving to Board of Directors Committee updates. I'm looking for an update for the Bylaws and Policy Committee.
Go ahead.
We met last week, and I believe we have one more, maybe one or two more meetings. But then, once we make all the little changes, we're going to bring the final copy to the board and have you all approve it and see what we've done.
Yeah, after Allison takes a look.
You're right.
Okay, thank you guys for your work on that. Capital Projects Committee update.
All right, you've heard from our executive director about several of our projects. The Clear Creek Valley Bike Park is getting close to final docs. Adams County has some questions and some solutions. Shelters are to be ordered. It takes about 20 weeks for Carol Butts, Phase 1. Berkeley Hills Park, we added a diffuser. Algae is still a concern. There's been some tree work there. Cavendish Park, our Adams County grant cycle may be in our favor, just as where things are going, so we're monitoring that. Golf driving range project is still moving forward slowly, but moving forward. Same with the golf driving range bridge project, which we actually have the bridge, which is good. You heard about the Learn to Swim pool. Commissioners Park is slight playground changes. Bids are going out. Rotary Park you heard about. Fitness Center sports court design is still in process. The mini grant for the goat crew, they have been shipped home, but they did a great job. And Sherwood Park we're getting planned soon. Clear Lake Park is scheduled, you heard about that. Agar, the permits are in hand, you heard about that as well. And the spring grant application, all three were funded. And we've talked about the ice center restrooms, elevators are underway.
Excellent, thank you. Anything you want to add? Right, okay. Moving to the next one, Finance Committee update.
No new items since our June Board of Directors meeting, where we had the annual report presented to us, and it's subsequently been filed.
Excellent. Moving to our ad hoc committees, community partnership updates. The Highland Hills Foundation Golf Tournament is this Friday, and so that's moving forward. With Rotary, there is a peach fundraiser. Today's your last day to order peaches. They're the best peaches around. If anyone's interested, let me know, and I can hook you up. And so the peaches are just outstanding. And Warren can help too. Also, lease, so that's the partnership updates. Lease committee update
Still waiting to hear from the court.
and management succession committee update.
Nothing to report at this time.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, any other updates that anyone would like to provide? With that, we're at Board of Directors open discussion. Are there any open discussion items? Hearing none, we're moving to board meeting action recap. I don't have any recap items. Does anyone else? Based on that, let's adjourn this meeting.
Okay.